Did you know that FEMA has a list of 30 items that they recommend you stock up on now to build a basic disaster supply kit? Now, I'm not saying that I'm a FEMA fan, but let's take a look at this list and see if we can get any new ideas. Now, obviously, first on the list is water. And they say 1 gallon per person per day for several days for drinking and sanitation. Now, they used to say have enough water for just 72 hours, but now they say for several days. So they've upped it a bit. Now, this can add up quickly. Let's say you want to have a 1 month supply of stored water. Now, I have a wife and 4 kids, and we have 1 more on the way, actually. So that will be 7 people in my house. So if I want a month's supply of stored up water, that's 7 gallons a day minimum that I would need. So for a 30-day supply, that's 210 gallons of water. Now that's a lot. And the way that I'm doing this is we have several 5-gallon jugs of purified water, but we also have a rain barrel that holds almost 200 gallons of water. And of course, we will need to treat the water before drinking it. But I want to know, what are you doing for your water storage? And second on the list is food, at least a several-day supply of non-perishable food. And the trick here is to store foods that your family already eats. Canned foods are one of the best options for this, like canned soups, vegetables, and one of my favorite things to stock up on is just spaghetti. You know, spaghetti noodles and jars of spaghetti sauce. I mean, it's super easy to stock up on. Everybody in the family loves it. It's easy to cook. So just stock up on things that your family already likes to eat. So next is a battery-powered or hand-cranked radio that has the weather alert. Now, you need a radio in case the power goes out, and also if cell service goes down, because then your phone won't have a signal, so you won't really have a way to get information. So if cell service goes down and you have one of these radios, you'll be able to get critical information in an emergency. Flashlights, have several flashlights around your house. Be sure to keep them easily accessible if the power goes out, so you know where they are. And the last thing you want is the power goes out and you can't find your flashlights. So keep them easily accessible. First aid kits. Having a good first aid kit is important, especially if you're like me and you have children at home. You need a way to take care of simple cuts and scrapes so they don't turn into something more serious. Extra batteries. Now, we talked about having a flashlight, but next on the list is having extra batteries. And be sure to get batteries of all the different common sizes. Next is a whistle. Now, I think the reasoning behind this is just a way to signal for help if need be. If you need to go get someone's attention, one of the best ways to do that is with a whistle, because you can hear it from a super long distance away, and it's so small, it doesn't take up any space. A dust mask. Now, this is to help filter contaminated air. In a disaster, there may be a lot of dust or contaminants in the air, so having a simple dust mask would be helpful. Next up, they have plastic sheeting and duct tape. Now, they say this is for sheltering in place. So if there's a situation in which the air outside is contaminated, or there's large amounts of debris in the air, you can use plastic sheeting to seal all your windows and doors and air vents using the plastic and duct tape. And they say to consider measuring and cutting the sheeting in advance so that that's already done to save time. Moist towelettes, garbage bags, and plastic ties. And they say this is for personal sanitation. Now, baby wipes are a great option for this. Next, they say a wrench or pliers, and they say this is for being able to turn off utilities. There may come a situation where you might need to turn off the water supply to your house because, something's leaking in your house. You need to go turn off the main water supply. So having tools available to be able to do something like this is very important. A manual can opener. Now, we talked about having stored up food, and you may have a lot of stored up canned food, so you need a way to open your cans. Pretty common sense. Local maps. Now, again, going back to like if cell service goes down and you need to go somewhere, you can't depend on your cell phone and GPS to get you there. You need maps of your local area. I recommend having maps of your state and all your surrounding states. Cell phone with chargers and a backup battery. In this day and age, cell phones are a necessity, whether you like it or not. So you need a way to charge your phone. Now, if the power goes out and you can't plug it in the wall, they make these portable battery packs that you can plug your cell phone in to charge it. And we have a couple of these and they work great. You can charge your cell phone multiple times with just charging that pack one time. Now the next few items is stuff that they've added after COVID. So the next is like masks, soap, hand sanitizer, disinfecting wipes to disinfect surfaces. You know, we can all remember when hand sanitizer was sold out everywhere, and even disinfecting wipes. And when COVID hit, you couldn't find these things. So already having them on hand is a great idea. Prescription medications. And they say about half of all Americans take a prescription medicine every day. An emergency can make it difficult for them to refill their prescription. So making sure you have a supply of the medication that you need on a regular basis, having that on hand is very important. Also think about all the non-prescription medications that you may need, such as pain relievers or even allergy medicine, cold medicine, things like that. Next up we have prescription eyeglasses and contact lens solution. Now, I don't know why they didn't include contact lenses, but you know, like my wife, she wears glasses, she also wears contacts, so it's important that we have an extra pair of glasses for her. And we also try to stay stocked up on the contacts that she uses, as well as the contact lens solution. So if you have anybody in your family that wears glasses or contacts, you know, this is a very important one for you. Infant formula, bottles, diapers, wipes, diaper rash cream. Now for me, this is a must. So I told you before, we have 4 kids and we have one more on the way. So that's gonna be number 5. And what I've learned is staying stocked up on these things is very important. The last thing you want is to run out of diapers and have to run to the store, or run out of formula, have to run to the store to get some for that day. I mean, that's insane. Some people might think it's crazy, but I have a several month supply of all these things. You know, infant formula, we have a ton stocked up. Diapers, we have a ton stocked up. So we're never gonna have to run to the store to get these things. So just something to think about if you have kids. Pet food and extra water for your pet. So if you have pets, don't forget about them. You know, you need to stock up food for them as well. Cash or traveler's checks. Now this is an interesting one. You know, having cash on hand is important. And I can remember a while back, I went to Lowe's. I needed to get some things at Lowe's. And got to the checkout line, and for some reason the payment system was down where you could not use a debit card, you couldn't use a credit card. You had to either pay with cash or check. I had like 40 bucks in my wallet, and it turns out what I was buying was like $50. So I didn't have enough cash, and I asked the cashier, hey, can I write a check? And because luckily I always try to keep at least one check in my wallet. And they took a check right there. So the payment system was down, but I was able to write a check for what I needed. So that was interesting. So you may want to think about having personal checks. You know, just keep a couple in your wallet. And also, obviously, cash is important to have on hand. Important family documents such as copies of insurance policies, identification, and bank account records saved electronically or in waterproof portable containers. And I would recommend doing both of these. Save a copy electronically. Also put these things away in a safe somewhere where it's not going to get damaged. Sleeping bags or warm blankets for each person and your family. You know, something may happen to where you have to go stay at someone else's house for a day or two. So if you had, you know, sleeping bags for each person, you know, that would make it a lot easier to go to someone else's place. We've all got our own sleeping bag. We can sleep in this room, you know, it'd make it easy. Also, if the power goes out and it gets cold in your house and for some reason you're not able to heat the house up the way that you would want to, you know, having sleeping bags and warm blankets would help you out tremendously. Complete change of clothing appropriate for your climate and sturdy shoes. So of course you want to have changes of clothes for everybody and have good shoes, especially walking shoes, because you never know, you may have to walk somewhere. Fire extinguisher. You know, we have a fire extinguisher in our kitchen. Also have one in my vehicle. Fire extinguishers is something a lot of people may overlook, but I think it's important to have. Matches in a waterproof container. Now I don't know why they say matches and not a lighter. You know, I would recommend having both. Definitely have a lighter. I mean, if you need to start a fire or light some candles, having a lighter makes it easy. Feminine supplies, personal hygiene items, pretty common sense there. Then we have mess kits, paper cups, plates, paper towels, and plastic utensils. Now this is something that we already use. We have, like I said, we have 4 kids, another one on the way, and if we had to wash dishes 3 times a day, you know, after every meal, 6 or 7 plates and cups, I mean, that's a lot. And especially in an emergency situation, that's the last thing you want to be worried about. So if you have paper plates and cups that you can just toss in the trash or burn it or however you get rid of your trash, I mean, it makes cleanup a lot easier. Paper and pencil. So let's think about this. So if you have your radio and there's a disaster has happened, there's no cell service, anything, but you have your radio and you're able to get some information. Having a paper and pencil to be able to write down vital information that you hear from the radio is important. So I guess that's why they include it on the list here. Then books, games, puzzles, and other activities for children. Now, if you cannot leave the house for some reason and the power is out, having activities to do, especially if you have kids, is a must. So think about, you know, books, board games, card games, and things like that that you can, you know, keep around your house to have activities to do. So I'd love to know your thoughts on the items mentioned. Was there anything left out that you would include on this list, or if there's anything on this list that you think shouldn't be on there? So let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what you think, and be sure to check out this next video, and I'll see you there.